I just gotta talk about stupid Stuttering John for a second. I guess he came back, right? He was doing some shows because he took 8 months off because everyone was just ragging him so hard. He decided to file a lawsuit against Shuley over at Uncle Rico and Carl over at Who Are These Podcasts for $600,000. The guy is such an idiot. Another frivolous lawsuit that will be thrown out. I mean, it would be fun to watch a trial, a judge, discovery, all the things that go with a trial. It would be fun to watch that, have to go on and see John in a courtroom. It would be hilarious. But I assure you, this will never get to that point. A judge will look at the complaint that was filed by John and his, I don't even want to call him a lawyer. He's got some guy that was up on charges, hit and run, whatever it was. I don't know. But any judge, and whatever judge they get, is going to look at this and be like, you're kidding me, right? This idiot does a podcast and people goof on it, and he thinks that's actionable. This idiot is a public figure. All he does is talk about what an amazing public figure he's been over the course of the years. And as we all know, a public figure has a much harder time getting a case together when they feel they've been wronged, either slander, libel. There's a much more stringent criteria put on a public figure. You have to really fit into certain categories and what you did and what your intent was in order for a celebrity to file a legitimate complaint against you for slander, libel. Also, the lawsuit, I think it deals with using his name and image to sell tickets or to sell a promotion for live events that Who Are These Podcasts and Uncle Rico have done. I went to a couple of these. They're great. Had so much fun. But John's saying that they used his voice and image to promote these shows that were about him. It's totally not in the same category as people that, you put up a sign and say, the home, come on in, buy a drink, the home of John Melendez. John Melendez appearing tonight. Any of those promotions like that, of course, it's not going to be there. But the thought that you can sue someone for saying, we're going to do a comedy show and we're going to play clips of this guy's show and we're going to goof on him and think that's actionable is batshit insane. The other part of it is the phone calls that Kate Meany recorded and gave or posted or gave, texted, direct messaged to people on Shuley's show and people on Who Are These Podcasts. And that was fair game. You want to sue someone, sue Kate Meany. She recorded you, And that would be ridiculous too. What you were saying on the tapes, so embarrassing, so embarrassing. But, you want that in discovery, feel free. He also presented it like he knew he was being recorded and didn't care if he was being recorded. It didn't bother him. But now he's bothered. And then to have someone play it on a show, it's not your copywritten material. It's not trademarked. There's question as to whether Kate recorded it within the boundaries of the law, but even that law is nothing. We've all done the prank phone call thing on radio shows, and, you know, it's more an FCC violation than anything else. And the fact that they played it on their show but didn't record it themselves, it completely clears them of any liability or any action that you could take in a court case. So John is just continuing his long and winding road of being a complete idiot. He could possibly be the dumbest individual on podcasts, out and about on the town. We saw him get pulled over by a cop. That video is hilarious. Everything he does is stupid and wrong. So he was supposed to be done. I think the day before yesterday, Sunday, I think it was, whatever. He goes, yeah, my last show. And that was going to be it. But he came back today. I think he's using me as an excuse. You know, I had to come back and goof on Pocky. Truth of the matter is, he made a few dollars. So he came back. The excuse was, you know, he wanted to lambaste me a bit. But truth of the matter is, he got a little used to people sending him a couple of bucks. Most people send him $2 to rag on him, to make fun of him, make fun of his kids, make fun of the fact, you know, he's a deadbeat dad. He's an absentee father. Everyone that has ever worked with this guy can't stand him. And, you know, he came back because the money, a couple of dollars here and there. He's broke. I mean, we all know it. It's obvious. He's broke. He's very bitter. He's a nasty person. He's just not a nice guy. And that's why you don't have friends. He doesn't have any friends. He constantly bitches about loyalty. And, you know, there's, you don't just get loyalty. It's earned. It's mutual. And he doesn't even know what the word means. So it's interesting. He'll say things. He'll try to present himself in a certain light. But the absolute truth of the matter is, you don't have to be a psychologist. You don't have to be a sociologist. You could just look at him and what he says and how he says it, and look at the people that he had worked with, that he had professed to be friends with at some point in his life, and see how all those relationships ended up. And you'll see a catastrophe, just a devastating wake of damage whenever he gets into any type of relationship, whatever it is, with a girl, with a guy, with a friend, with a coworker, with colleagues. He's incapable of acting like a civil, nice human being. It's always just, what can I get out of someone? He's a user. He's always been a user. You know, I've had him over my house years ago for poker games, and I saw him grubbing money off of Mike, the guy that drove him to the house. He had someone pick him up from his house, drive him to my house to play poker, and then grubbed money off the guy. Mike, by the way, now a great friend of mine. I will see Mike this week. Him and Mikey Cuffs are making the trip up to Villa Roma to join us, Chrissy Mayer and company, for the Content House this week. So that piece of shit, disloyal friend, Mike, he had to pick John up and drive him to my house and then pull money that I know, well, he's told me he never saw that money again. Pull it out of his pocket so John could be dead money at our poker table. Inappropriate comments to my girl, inappropriate comments just in the room around people. You know, we're bunch of fun guys. We goof on shit. We have a dark and irreverent sense of humor. But you know when the guy blurts shit out and you're just like, oh God, that's John. He doesn't know how to act like a person. He's got to act like he wants people to perceive that he's a fun character of a guy, but he's not. So when he's in the room with a bunch of people, he turns out to be the joke in the room. And you'd think someone like that would be, I don't know, a little humble. You count your words a little bit. Let me feel the room, see what people are talking about, and then maybe inject myself into a conversation. Or incapable. He's got main character syndrome. He thinks he is the center of the universe. He could do and say and act however he pleases, and everyone better play along, or he'll accuse you of stabbing him in the back. This is what he does. It's all he's ever done. He uses people. He got incredibly lucky with the Howard Stern show. And the things that they wrote for him to do were great, very funny. And that was 99% of it was going out, hassling celebrities with questions that Howard and Jackie and Fred wrote, and presenting those questions in a way where, like, stuttering and you don't care, and you're not thinking about consequence. Yeah, it's a funny character written by three very funny people. Once that was over, this guy had nothing else to give the people. He was hired by Jay Leno as a direct slight to Howard Stern. If Howard Stern had a rhododendron on his desk that he had nurtured from a seedling, and somehow Jay got his hands on it, it would have pissed Howard off, and Jay would have had that rhododendron on his desk, knowing he pissed off Howard. Didn't matter. Rhododendron, stuttering idiot. It's the same thing. And it's the only reason that John was on The Tonight Show. So when you think about it, from the time he left Stern, that was it for John. No one gave a no one cared. Whenever they faked wanting John for something, whenever they presented John with an opportunity, hey, we want you to be on the sitcom Wings, or want you to host this or do that, it was only because he was on the Howard Stern show. And Howard Stern was a juggernaut for selling tickets and advertising something. If Howard talked about it, people watched it, bought it, listened to it. And that's the only reason John got a record deal. You think Atlantic Records gave a shit about, I'll talk my way out of it. I'll talk my way out of it. There were, at the time, local bands that I would see out on Long Island at, name it, Hammerheads, CBGBs, Cheers, the Mad Hatter of Stony Brook. There was so many rock clubs. And 99% of the bands playing at those clubs were better than John, but they were not on the Howard Stern show. For this guy to think he got a record deal based on his merits as a musician is just another in the long, long line of delusions this guy has bouncing around that empty walnut of his. It's the only reason he was signed. We'll sign John. Howard will talk about it. John will talk about it on Howard's show. And we might make a few bucks. We'll put him out there. He'll open for a couple of bands. Hopefully Howard will talk about it. That's it. I'm guest star on Wings. You think the people at Wings didn't know that if Howard mentions, oh, John's going to be on Wings, that people might watch Wings? As Howard said. So this guy, and he's still just as delusional. He does these, I don't even know what to call it. It's not a podcast. I don't know what it is. It's like a mutation. It's like a podcast with teeth and hair and fingernails growing out of the head of it. Ever see those? And you're like, what is? It's not quite a person. That's what John does. And he's a grifter. He just, the word is thrown around a lot in the podcasting community. But unfortunately, there are grifters, for lack of a better term, I guess, because people are tuning in. I don't think they're giving money because they're being promised something. I think when people watch John's, whatever it is, they know they're watching. They know that they're not going to get anything more than an idiot rambling, drunkenly rambling on camera with a microphone and some flunky yes man of the week that he's going to call a backstabbing asshole in a matter of 2 weeks next to him. That's it. And they send him money to goof on him. So it's even an ineffective grift. He's not even good at grifting. He's more a buffoonish clown that dances around, the village idiot that dances around with the bells and the curly shoes so people throw money at him. But at the same time, they're also throwing Rotten Tomatoes at his face. And he's just like, I'll do that. And he's trying to pick the money up out of the Rotten Tomato seeds and rancid squash that has been pelting him. So he's more like that than a grifter. He's a fool, a buffoon. The term, lol cow, of course. But that's what he is. And he seems to think he's anything but that. That people that tune into his show want to hear some interesting John Melendez take on something. No, they don't. And it doesn't matter what your topics are, politics, movies. He professes to know so much about movies. I saw something the other day. Everything he mentions is something an 8-year-old who watched a movie once would know. It's such easy, trivial information. He never goes in depth into anything, whether that's politics or film, as he likes to call it. I was NYU films. What have you done, John? He always talks about his graduating from NYU Film School. What have you done, John? Is there one project that you made, that you started and finished that we can see? Because most people that went to NYU Film School have a catalog of things. There are some unbelievably famous and successful directors who we still go back to and look at what they did in NYU Film School because it was cutting edge, brilliant, and done, for $1.98. They didn't need money. They had talent, brilliance. And, you talk about a diploma and a ring on your finger. But John, where are the goods? Where's one thing you did that anyone could look at and go, wow, there's a talented NYU student? You do nothing. You contribute nothing. You've never started and finished anything. You're constantly running away from this abomination you call a podcast because people chase you away from it. Then you make a few bucks. So you figure you'll hang in there until the truth that these various people and shows tell about you gets to be too much. Yeah, there he is. Talk my way out of bed. Do you think Long Island musician John Melendez would get the likes of Grandpa Al Lewis or the other number of celebrities that were involved in his videos? No. It was because Howard Stern employed you, and he just can't get over that. And he tries to punch up his credits, like saying he was a writer. All these funny things that happened on the Stern Show that were some of the spontaneous things, the things that were made funny because of people like Howard, Fred, Jackie, later Artie, and weren't written out. And he tries to claim credit for writing those moments. What? He tries to claim credit for being in the writers' meetings when it came time to write these questions that he was going to ask the celebrities. So the last thing they wanted was his input. They wanted an empty vessel. And boy, if you ever wanted an empty vessel, John is it. And then you fill his moronic head with these lines to blurt out at celebrities, and it was great. But to then try to punch it up that you were sitting in the meetings. No, Fred, it's a good idea, Fred. But I would add that, how hard would Fred laugh in his face before he told him to get the out of the room? Which probably happened, maybe a couple of times. And then, writer for Lena. He's not a writer. He can't write. He can barely read. And he was a great writer for 2 iconic shows. No. You danced around with jingly bells on your shoes. That's what you are. A clown to be made fun of for 3 decades. That's it. And look at where you are now. You're still the clown. In mommy's house, doing your little whatever it is. You're broke. You're miserable. Your family hates you. You're a deadbeat. You have no friends. You have no coworkers to maybe get a project together with. What about that, NYU film school grad? Why don't you cull some of these amazing talents that you worked with at Stern and at The Tonight Show? Writers, get together, write something. Use that astounding diploma on the wall before the ink runs on it. And that ring before it turns your finger green because it's not real. And get something together and put it out there. Something that isn't goofy, wacky, bells on his shoes, pie in his face, John Melendez. Give that a whirl. Show everyone, John. Show everyone how amazing you are. Shut everyone up. Going away for a few months, coming back drunk, and fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. Coming back drunk and still just blathering the same nonsense, you're not showing anyone. You're making everyone happy. Thank God he's back, and he's just as stupid as he ever was. If you took 8 months off and made some phone calls to your friends and former coworkers, people you sat and wrote amazing material with, amazing material you directed Quentin Tarantino, for God's sake. Why aren't you utilizing all those resources, collaborating with these amazing people, and shutting everyone the up with a project that starts and finishes and is amazing? Where the is it? Now who's being delusional? Me. Even coming up with this, even imagining that something like that could come to fruition and you could actually do something like that is delusion beyond the stars, John. You're an idiot. You're not smart. You're not knowledgeable about anything. You're angry and bitter, and you have no one around you to help you, to collaborate with, to throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks, unless you're doing it literally in your own bathroom from the looks of some of the videos I've seen. But there you go. my little response to his diatribe today about me and other people and why he's still doing a show after he said he wasn't going to do it. For $2. Jingle those shoe bells. Jingle those shoe bells, fool.